Hello tool groupies, maintenance men, mechanics, do-it-yourselfers. Today we're going to be reviewing the Craftsman 1/4-inch drive universal socket wrench tool set from my local Sears hometown country store. This is model number 32825. It retails for right around $34 normally. Currently you can pick it up online for I believe $28 to $30, but I bought it for 20 bucks in store. So I always go in store and look around if you get a chance, because the prices might be cheaper if you've got a Sears left near you. It is a 19-piece 1/4-inch drive set. It does come with 18 different metric and standard universal sockets and a 1/4-inch drive ratchet on this red storage rack. So it's really easy to transport. You grab the carrying handle, go on about wherever you're going to make your repairs at. It has two different holes right here on the top head so that you can easily store this on your shop wall. You could even put it inside your tool drawer because it is thin enough to place inside your tool drawer without any obstruction. Some people might even decide to cut this top handle off right here so that you'll be able to stick it in your tool drawer and have you a little bit more room. But then again, these racks right here, essentially these plastic rails, do come off, so you could even store it separately inside of your tool drawer with just the socket rails and the ratchet to itself. Keep the case on hand somewhere else. If you need to grab it for a mobile situation, all you gotta do is pick it up, lock it back in place, and go make your mobile repair. So there is several different options for everyone to have with these particular sets. Now we'll open her up here and give her a look. I've already took the liberty of taking the security strips off the side of it there that usually run through the center of the socket here. As you can see here, the Craftsman name is right here on the bottom in raised lettering. The words inch is in raised lettering over the black plastic socket rail on the left of the rack, and the metric over top of the gray socket rail on the right of the rack. So it'll keep everything nice and secured. Plus you have got your 1/4-inch drive ratchet right in between two little red clips right here, keeping everything nice, organized, easy to store, easy to travel with. You can pick it up on the go, and everything kindly stays in place. So this isn't too bad of a design for some people to enjoy. Now you can remove, as I said, these rails here. All you got to do is push up. You can remove these during work. You can remove them during storage. All you got to do is push up on them to unlock them, and if you want to put them back in place, all you have to do is stick them back over here, lock them back down, and they are in place ready to go. Now with the inch size, you're going to get 3/16 all the way down to 1/2 inch. You're going to get, with metrics, 5mm all the way down to 13 without skipping any sizes in between, with the exception of course of 4 or 5/32. It is made in Taiwan from high tensile strength heat treated alloyed steel with a black oxide and clear coat protectant finish to help reduce rust and corrosion. The Taiwan steel is typically better than what you'll find with Chinese made stuff because of the heat treating process, so that's always a good plus with the Craftsman brand on this end. Now the interior of these sockets here, I'll put a picture up on screen also. They do have some of the black oxide coating on the inside of them, and that'll help kind of reduce any type of rust from starting on the inside. But that coating is not thick enough, and it will come off while using the tools. But there isn't any really stress fractures around the interior of the socket, any metal imperfections from making the actual sockets. So that's good to see, because some of the Craftsman tools do have stress fractures right around where the square drive would be at from when they make these. Now the exterior themselves, they do have a knurled ring right around them with die stamping size, brand, part indicators to help identify the size for repairs or the brand and part number during warranty process. The black oxide coating also helps you see those size indicators and those numbers and stuff better, but the part and sizes are stamped a little bit too close together for my liking. If you swivel the socket around, you're really going to be looking at it because the part number itself runs right alongside, and then the size indicators are just a little bit bigger. But whenever you're working, because of the way these sockets look, you really want to be able to glance at them and see the size right off the bat, because there's no really any other indicators to help you with that. So they could have spaced those apart just a little bit. Now the black oxide finish does cover the knurling on the sockets. Both the standard and the metric have this knurling that is die stamped into it. However, it is kind of stamped down below the exterior shell of the socket, so it really doesn't provide a grip for your fingers. If you lock onto that to try to turn it, it's not really going to help you out. And because of the fact that it is black rings on both sets of sockets, you're really not going to be able to decipher which one is metric from standard. So yet again, they could have done something a little bit better to where you can actually see the sizes, or gave it some type of different color coding so you'll know which one is standard and metric. Whenever you're making repairs, you want the indicators to be very visible, because you don't want to waste time hunting down socket sizes in the middle of a repair. You know, time is money, and that will cost you money if you waste your time looking for this stuff. Now, we also have a 5.5 inch long 1/4 inch drive ratchet. It does have a 5.5 inch long body and a 3/4 wide head. It has die stamped brand name and model number on the ratchet and the handle itself on the body here. So you can easily warranty out this tool and identify it if you need to. Now, it also has the black oxide clear coat finish. The oxide coating is not very thick, so you can see a few imperfections in the coating itself, which means that it will wear off a little bit easier and prematurely, as opposed to, you know, what it probably should. But it's not going to hinder the actual performance of the tool, so, you know, I can kind of overlook that for the price. Now, it does feel nice and heavy in your hand for a 1/4 inch drive ratchet. The gear head itself is 5 6/10 of an inch thick, just like a low profile gear wrench right here. It is the exact same thickness as what the low profile gear wrench is, but it does have a raised reversing switch on it and a quick release button, so it will not perform quite as well as what you'll see with low profile ratchets. Now, you can easily push the button here. It drops down the detent ball that is inside the anvil so that you can easily secure a socket into place, and you can release it with the push of a button and exchange sockets real easily, along with changing the reversing directions by hitting that lever right there. So with one hand, if needed, you can make plenty of repairs. It'll function really smoothly. You can easily exchange those sockets, put them right back in place, keep on going about your day without any issues, reverse those directions, put fasteners on, pull them off. It also has a 45 tooth gear head that produces an 8-degree arc swing with a single pawl design, so it provides better grip and torque than the dual pawl designs will. Now, the gear and pawl reversing switch assembly is held right in behind this plate right here, and it's got the retaining ring. All you got to do is get yourself some snap ring pliers right there, and you can remove it. Now, as you can see in the picture here, it does have oil on the gears, which is good, because some ratchets that you get do not have oil inside of the gear head, and you'll have to do that whenever you buy the tool itself. But this one does come pre-oiled. But if you ever need to get inside there to clean this out, make adjustments, repairs, oil the ratchet, you're going to have to remove that retaining ring in order to get to it. This ratchet does come oiled, like I said, so that is a good plus with this. You could buy it and go straight to work. However, this is not a sealed head design, so the oil will seep out faster than with a sealed head design. It is more likely to get sand or other contamination in behind that little plate, which will eventually mean that you'll need to tear down the ratchet, clean it out, re-oil it, and keep on going. That way it doesn't really mess up any of your gears or your performance that you're going to need when making repairs. Now, as you can hear the teeth operating on this ratchet, they do appear to be nice and smooth. But I do feel a very slight catch in it whenever I'm first starting off for whatever reason. Now, it could go away with some good use because we're just now pulling it out of the box. But if anything does fail on this, it comes with a Craftsman full lifetime warranty, which Sears will currently honor. So all I got to do is go up to Sears and exchange it. Otherwise, I will get the contact information here on screen and in the description box below. All I got to do is give them a call, send them an email, and they will get back to me and warranty out the product. Now, the universal socket wrench sets, these are intended to be a one-tool-fits-all product. And they do serve a purpose on some occasions or jobs, but it's not for everyone or every job. The picture on screen, as you can see, shows the types of fasteners that this 1/4 inch drive set will fit, plus the sizes in relation to the fasteners that it will use. They do work on 6 different types of fasteners here, both 6 and 12 point hex, partially rounded hex, external Torx, 4-point squares, and spline fasteners. The best fit for the universal tools will be on the spline fasteners, of course, which is common on things like forklifts and certain machines, but it's not really common on a whole lot of automotives or appliances or things of that nature. It is more common on equipment. So with everything else, you do have better options, because such as 6-point fasteners such as this are going to fit much better with a 6-point socket or wrench design. It's going to reduce the amount of rounding that you get. It will fit right in there. You have less likelihood of rounding off the corners of those fasteners. Now, certain things like the 12-point fasteners are designed specifically to where they will fit these. But with 12-point, for an example, you get inside there and you do have a better chance of rounding off the fasteners because it will turn on that corner, and with a lot of applied torque it's going to skim the edge of this fastener off of there. Now 12 points will be designed better to work on actual 12-point fasteners, which you will see on certain drive shafts and things like that in the automotive world. But 6-point fasteners are best for 6-point, 12 points best for 12-point, and whenever you do round something off, they do make specialty sockets that are best fit on those rounded fasteners. These spline drives will work, but they will not work all the time. Now, if they're not very rounded, then it's a good possibility that they might work. But if they are rounded too much, well, then you could more than likely round the fastener even worse than what it already was. Now, they will fit, which I don't have with me to demonstrate right now, an external Torx or star head. However, the external Torx or star socket here will fit much better, whereas putting something like the spline drive on there, it will catch the sides of the fastener. But if you're having to put a whole lot of torque on that just to get it off, then you're more than likely going to end up snapping the points off, because all it's going to have is different points of contact that they set inside of on the spline wall. But whenever you go to apply torque, it's going to twist the edges right off there, and then you're really going to be hurting as opposed to using the proper socket for the actual job. Now, one of the best things that this could be used for is something like a 4-point square, which is this right here. They do fit the 4-point squares. These are what a 4-point square socket looks like. They used to be really popular back in the early 1900s up to the 1960s. And I used to have an entire set of these. Unfortunately, I've lost some over the years. I would like to have an entire set back. But they have these, that way it fits right in there. It's kind of like the 6-point socket deal. It has plenty of room, big thick walls to put all that pressure across all 4 points of this fastener. Now, whenever you get into other situations, that's why they make what is known as a double square or an 8-point socket, which is this right here. Now, with 8-point sockets such as this one, some people might get them in some tool sets and not realize what they are. This one's a 5/16. These are basically set screws. There's something that you'll see kind of used to put tension on different machines. If you work on machines that has bearings on them, these might be used to put tension on those bearings back and forth, on motors back and forth. They might be set screws to hold something in place. This 8-point double square design will easily fit over there, and it will fit nice and tight around it to help you move that fastener in and out. But like I said, the square design is much better. But the double square design was essentially the exact same concept as what we have here with the 12-point fasteners and the 6-point fasteners. They were designed so that you could have a little bit of extra angle room to get onto the fastener to turn it to begin with. Now, certain things like this 4-way right here, okay, you got the 4 points here. This 4-point fastener inside of this 12-point socket will do the exact same concept as the spline drive. It will set on the sides of this. All I have to do is set it over there and it will turn it, no problem. The difference is with the spline drives, you're actually going to be setting it inside of a little bit thicker wall, and you're going to be able to apply a torque a little bit better, which means you're not going to be damaging your more commonly used sockets. So that's a good thing to have spline drive on hand, and that way you don't damage your better quality tools, because those corners are nice and sharp. So you need something to kind of bite onto those whenever you're working. And spline drive sockets are a really good alternative to it. The best thing that the spline drives are going to be used for is actual spline drive fasteners, which you'll typically find on forklifts and things of that nature. Now, the reason I got these sets is because I do work on industrial equipment quite frequently, and the spline drive set will compensate for a wide variety of tools that I might not necessarily have on hand to do a job. Now, like I said, if I'm working on something more specific that requires a 6-point or a 12-point or an external Torx, I am going to do my best to use the sockets that go with those fasteners to have the best outcome, the less likelihood of rounding and having problems, especially if it's going to be in a high torque application. There's many situations where you get into something and it's old and it's rusty, or it's got Loctite around it, and if you're going to apply a whole bunch of torque with a spline drive socket set or a wrench set, then you're more than likely going to be rounding off the edges or breaking something, and that's not what I want to do. Now, the best use for these, in my personal opinion and experience, is whenever I'm going to do a job, I have a wide variety of different things I can do with this one set of wrenches, because if I run across something and it's not entirely too tight and I haven't got to put a whole lot of torque on that, then I can use these to compensate for all these other tools. So if I'm in a situation, I can very easily go from using this spline drive to take off rounded fasteners, to take off the external Torx, to take off a 12-point or a 6-point or a square head. And whenever I'm working with machines, it is quite often that I need to take apart several different things at one time, and these tools right here could help me do that without packing a whole bunch of different tools with me to complete that job. So it's much better to pack 3 different sets of these around: the 1/4 inch, the 3/8, the 1/2 inch drive set to complete a wide variety of jobs, as opposed to taking an entire toolbox full of tools. It's a lot better than having to use adjustable wrenches. It's a lot better than having to use the open boxed end, because whenever you're getting to a job, you're having to sit here and adjust one of these fasteners. You're going to be working all day long trying to sit there and just turn this thing back and forth. Like I said, if you got something like the square, or if you got something like the 8-point, then that will do just as good of a job. But a lot of people can't buy those in full sets these days, and this will do the job of those other tools. So in my personal opinion, if anything, if you're not sure with these, if you haven't got experience with these, they are going to be great for a specific group of people. Automotive guys might not like these, but now people who work on industrial equipment or different types of equipment that run across these types of fasteners, you might be getting into something that you like here. It might be good for performing maintenance repairs on a wide variety of machines. Plus, it's basically worth the price you're going to be paying for these. The Craftsman set's not entirely too bad. It was the Apex Tool Group who helped contract out through Sears to make these particular products, and the Taiwan made stuff is every bit just as strong as the Gear Wrench made stuff from Taiwan. They're actually designed pretty similar and the same, which I will discuss in an upcoming video. But these are pretty good for the prices that they've got going for them right now. You can get them at Sears, you can get them at certain stores online, but you cannot get them through any of these Stanley Black & Decker outlets that I know of. So I will post some links in the description box below if you want to check them out, where you can buy these things at. There will be other links to other tool reviews you can check out. But I would like to hear from you. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know down below your experience with universal tools and what profession you use them in. Otherwise, thanks for watching as always. And if you're wanting to make repairs great again, you're going to have to pick up some tools and do it yourself.